This is to certify that Movie Chats has been classified for live streaming.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for joining us for another week on Movie Chats. I say another week. It's been a fortnight since we've got together, Steve.
No, I've missed it.
You've been broken. I've been busy for work.
I know you're broken.
No, I'm broken. So don't expect a lot from me this evening in the way of movement.
I never expect much movement from you. I don't even think your wife expects much movement from you. She probably don't even know.
So how's your fortnight been? We've got a lot to catch up on, a lot to get through in the way of movies.
Yes, we have. To be honest, I've been a bit crap because I was full of a cold and then pulled me back out from the cold. So I was proper old fogey. I spent a couple of days in A&E trying to get the right medication and stuff, and I couldn't bloody move. So, but I'm a lot better now. So I'm much more agile today, a bit more moving around, and I think the other thing as well is obviously the colder weather coming in probably hasn't helped it either, you know. But no, other than that, I've had a bit of time to watch a few things and sort of relax a little bit. So yeah, it's been good.
I'm glad you're feeling better. Bambi had nothing on me yesterday when I went over on the ice.
I wish I'd been there.
Lucky enough, with the sport that I do, you sort of get taught how to fall. So I twisted.
So you did a twist somersault into a backflip.
I twisted out of the fall. It could have been a lot worse, but yeah, I've still banged my head. I've still jarred my neck, and my lower back is killing. But it could have been a lot worse.
Like that, 10 out of 10.
Yeah, 10. It could have been a lot worse. So unfortunately, when I sneezed before, I've jarred my neck. The laptop nearly fell off the back of the table, so I reached over to grab it in the Superman fashion.
Tell me about it.
Yeah, so no, I'm not moving around very much today. Unfortunately, I'm off work tomorrow for the weekend, and I've got lots planned for Teddy, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it. But we'll see. We'll see.
If you're sore today, you might even be worse tomorrow.
Yeah. So we'll see how we are in the morning. Movies.
Yes.
It has been a week of trailer dropping and teasers and announcements. Now there is a couple, and look, before your essay, I have got 2 pages of notes. Of stuff that I think we need to talk about. First of all, did you finish watching the Squid Games?
Yes, the challenge.
Challenge, yeah. What did you think?
Well, to be fair, you say, did you finish it? It's still got a last episode to go on it.
Still got the final, which I think is
for anybody that's in the chat that doesn't know,
yeah,
it's definitely not the sequel, just because people online lost their crap about it. It's not the sequel. It's a live game show of Squid Games. They released it 4 episodes and then another 4 last week, and then they've got one more which I think is coming next week, maybe.
Yeah, I think it's the end of this week, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, the end of this week, I think it is just the final.
Right. So yeah.
What they've done with the series, for those that have watched Squid Games, they've gone right the way through where you see them apply for it, you see them enter, because it's filmed in the actual set from the TV show.
It looks amazing.
So people actually stay in the dorms. They start off with red light, green light, and they play all the games, but with a little bit of a twist to, instead of them doing tug of
Don't
war,
ruin it.
instead of them doing the tug of war, they did battleships and stuff like that. So there's a few little twists. Obviously, people don't get killed. The ink blows up, and they
have like an ink blot thing on them, don't they?
Yeah.
So that you can see the box on the back of them very vaguely, and then they have to sort of die in the most dramatic way. Some of them.
Yeah, to simulate that they've died, but it's they followed the series quite well, I think.
Yes, they have. They've really sort of they have done really well at sort of turning it into a show, haven't they?
Yeah. It's definitely worth a watch. Like I said, the episodes are an hour long,
something like that. But the first couple of them are a bit like, do I? I know I got some feedback on the first couple of episodes that were a bit like, well, I'm not sure about this, and I'm like, well, stick with it, because what it does highlight quite a lot is sort of people's attitudes and what they would really do for money and stuff like that. You know what I mean? It's very true to form when it comes to the actual program.
Yeah,
you know, cliques being made up of friends and all that. That I was just about to say that last four. Some of the bits in them really infuriated me. Like, I was proper getting emotional over it, so it's definitely worth it.
But you can't. It's like the series, though. You can't help getting hooked and attached to a couple of the people that are in there, because it's sort of it is brilliant the way that they've done it. I would definitely go and watch the Squid Games challenge. The next
I think they do more of those. You know.
Oh, they will.
I think that's now going to be a staple, because the thing is that there's not really any surprises when it comes to the games, you know, like as to which ones they would do, because it pretty much follows the series.
Yeah.
So there's no real surprises with that. In fact, I think this might be more successful than the second series, depending on how they do that. Because people will be going in doing the exact same things. But so they spend a lot of time with certain characters on the first few episodes, and you're like, right, okay, here we go. And then there's loads of them where you're like, there's like 495 people or something to start off with, something like that, innit? 456.
456 is the same as the series, isn't it? 456.
And you know, you're like, yeah, they're not spending much time on them. They won't last long. And as it sort of progresses through, there's quite a few shocks, I think.
Mm-hmm. Well, Gareth just put us Noel Edmonds doing the British version. This is people from all over the world.
People,
people that you know. So they've got 456 people from different
everywhere.
ways of life. Yeah, it is great the way that they've done this. And I definitely would go and highly recommend that. The finals. The finals of it this week or the start of next week. So, like I said, I don't want to spoil it, but go and watch it and go and catch up, and we'll talk about it next week about the final for Squid Games to challenge. As you know, Stevie, I am a big fan of the Hunger Games books and film series.
Yeah.
The Sonnet of Songbirds and Snakes is out. I haven't seen it yet. I am going to go and see it. It's one of the few things I'm going to make the trip to the cinema if I can get the time to do that. But what they're saying now, though, is that the two main characters from the two franchises, because this is going to be a franchise. So the first one was obviously Katniss Everdeen. The new one's Lucy Greybeard. They're the two main characters. Now, what they're saying is that the similarities between the two and the families and stuff like that, that Katniss and Lucy are probably related somewhere, because they're both from District 12.
Oh, okay.
So the book doesn't confirm that. The film doesn't confirm that. However, there might be some ties that Lucy's like auntie or something, and that explains why the mum's a little bit funny in the Hunger Games, obviously, because the dad's died in a mining accident, and then there's other family ties that have happened somewhere down the line that has caused that to happen. So you've left that wide open for them to write that in that related. And I don't know if I'm happy about that or not. They can't they just give me two separate characters that have got nothing to do with each other that have gone through the same thing?
No, God, no.
No.
God, no. I mean, I think I'd like to hope you enjoy it when you go to cinemas, but I've got a funny feeling your review will be one word, and that'll probably be it.
One word is awesome.
Yes, it may be awesome.
I really enjoy, and I go back and Lawrence laughs at me because every couple of weeks there'll be a Hunger Games either on Netflix or YouTube or the Blu-rays that I've got here, and I'll have one of them on, just to watch in the background or whatever.
Yeah.
So I hope it's good. We've already got a young President Snow, okay, because he's the tutor, he's the mentor. So that's where he comes from. So we've got the ties to the original films and books that way. But I just hope they don't try and shoelace everything together for all the films, because I don't think that's necessary. Speaking of that type of saga stuff, did you see the trailer for Mad Max Furiosa?
No, I haven't. I was going to say, I thought that was the last one.
The new Mad Max.
No, I haven't seen it yet.
Fury Road was the first one.
Yeah.
Max. This is Furiosa. And
okay.
So there's the character in the first film called Furiosa, the girl. And the second film is all about her. So it's not about Max. So
really?
It's Furiosa, a Mad Max saga. So they've pulled the Star Wars on us. Do you know, like Han Solo, a Star Wars saga, and Rogue One, Star Wars. So they've pulled this with Mad Max.
Okay.
So Chris Hemsworth is in the film. The girl who played Furiosa is in the film, and they're both raving about how good this film is. And I'm just looking at this, and I'm just like, why do we need a Mad Max saga?
Yeah. Well, I mean, the thing is that was, it's about time we had another trilogy, innit? I mean, it was, I mean, the first ones, were they the 90s, the 80s, the first lot, 70s and 80s? Hey, Rich. Hey, everybody. Sorry, we're not ignoring you. Oh, we are, but not on purpose. But I don't mind it. But the thing is that they upped the game with this one, with the last one, didn't they? For visual sort of effects. I know it won a load of awards. I'm sure it did for actual practical effects. So yeah, I think it's about time we probably had another one. It probably would be a box office smash as well, to be honest.
The thing is, though, is that when I've watched the trailer, I've had to watch it a couple of times because I haven't watched the original Max. I say the original Max. I haven't watched Fury Road, so I do need to go and watch that to understand what this Furiosa is about and who she is in relation to why she's getting her own.
Hang on, Furiosa, weren't she played by, was it Cameron Diaz? Not Cameron Diaz. Charlize Theron.
Charlize Theron, yeah.
Charlize Theron. So she's getting her own movie, basically.
Yeah, she's in it at the start where they're explaining who she is, and then we get a younger Furiosa in the film. So I am intrigued to find out why we're getting the standalone film from her. But do we need that? And it's not necessarily a trilogy of films. I think we're going to get a Mad Max trilogy, but then we're also going to get 5 or 6 spin-off movies as well. But the reason why I've rewatched the trailer so many times is that you're right. The original one won awards for like the stunts and the cars and the sets and all that sort of stuff. A lot of this looks CGI'd, so it doesn't look like they've gone down the route where they have done the last time. It looks like a lot of the cars are CGI in the background and
Tom
stuff
Hardy's
like
backing
that.
it by the looks of it.
Hmm?
Tom Hardy's backing it by the looks of it.
Yeah, but I don't think he's got a big part because he's not in the trailer.
Right. Okay.
So they've probably done the same as what they've done with Ferran, where they're in it for about 5-6 minutes while they're explaining who she is and where she's come from. But he's not in the trailer for it.
Oh yeah, it does say Chris Hemsworth, doesn't it?
Mm.
No, this isn't. Is this even? Yeah. So is this like a prequel then?
It's the prequel to Fury. Well, it's not even a prequel to Fury Road. It's how she's got involved in Fury Road.
Brilliant.
So this is what I'm saying. It's a movie I don't know if I need to have.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that one now. I've just had a look. Hey, Lainey.
Yeah,
I'm not sure.
Yeah, have a proper look when you can put your.
Yeah, I will do. The only thing, the big sort of trailer that's been thinking this week is Grand Theft Auto, the new Grand Theft Auto, isn't it, on Game Online?
Grand Theft Auto 6, yeah.
Yeah.
There's been a big thing about it being a female lead in the game, etc. But we already had a female lead in 3 and 4, if I remember correctly. I'm not really a big Grand Theft Auto fan. But you're going back to Vice City and stuff like that. So that'd be good if you're into that type of game. I'm not.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
So, one of the other big trailers that dropped for me this week, that's obviously close to my heart, is Halo Season 2. We're getting Halo Season 2. It's releasing in February. I've had to look at the trailer. I think it's really, really good. It looks like we are going back to the mainstream war. So by the looks of the trailer, we see the glassing of Reach. You see the fall of Reach, which was the game Halo Reach.
Yeah.
So we start seeing all of that now. And for the first time in the show, we actually get to see a Halo ring. So not where they're in the love dream and Mickey and John are on the ring. We actually get to see a physical one. So hopefully we get rid of all the lovey-dovey crap. We get rid of Kwan. We get rid of Kwan and her little side stories. But although she is on the cast list, so we know we're going to get her. But as long as they kill her off in the first couple of episodes where they really do Reach, and we move into the war, because we had about 20 minutes of war in the whole series of Halo last season, and it's just not good enough. It needs to be more. Give me more.
It's not good enough.
No, the season's really, really good. I enjoy season 1. Season 2 looks amazing, as long as they deliver it. And they haven't just pulled a Transformers Rise on the Beasts on me, where they've put all the good bits in 2 minutes and just fill out the season full of crap and love story.
Let it go, Steve. Let it go.
Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, Halo Season 2 is out in February. Go and watch Halo Season 1 if you haven't already.
Right, okay. Is there any other trailer news?
What have I got on my list here? What have we got to speak about here? Jane Silent Bob Season 3. Movie 3.
After the reboot?
Yeah, on top of that, Kevin Smith writing Jane Silent Bob 3 at the moment. Jason Mewes is signed onto it. Who's obviously Jay, Kevin Smith, Silent Bob.
Yeah.
They would like to continue the character arc through, because they're the only two characters to appear in every movie so far, from Chasing Amy through to the reboot.
Clerks 3.
So through Clerks and everything else, they're the only two characters that have made a recurring appearance in all movies. So they'd like to keep that going. So we're going to get a Jane Silent Bob 3. Again, I really enjoy those films. I just don't know after Clerks. Clerks 3 was really emotional. If you remember when I watched it and I did my review, I did say it tugged on my heartstrings a little bit. And it is quite emotional. But that's more to do because it was Dante and what's his name? The other fella. And and what's happening with them, not necessarily Jane Silent Bob, but yeah. Jennifer Love Hewitt and Freddie Prinze Jr. are lobbying for I Know What You Did Last Summer 4. They're both talking to studios at the moment about maybe producing that. Again, it's a sequel to a dead teenage horror franchise that I don't know if I want.
Yeah, I suppose. I'm not sure. I was just thinking the same, to be honest with you. I can't remember what year the last one was brought out.
No. And then before we get onto the real, before we get onto the real interesting news, Disney now own the complete rights to Hulk.
Okay.
So they've bought the last remaining studio that owns any shares to Hulk. So Disney have now owned Hulk as it is. Mark Ruffalo is being really tight-lipped about if this means we're going to finally get Planet Hulk, which obviously Ragnarok was sort of based around.
Mark Ruffalo's not very good at holding secrets, so he probably doesn't know himself at this point.
He doesn't know himself, so he's been very tight-lipped to the point where he was on a Comic-Con panel this week, and his comments were, "I've been told not to comment on the status of Hulk, and I don't know what's going on, but it'll be great if it happens next year or so." So, with him being the only original Avenger left now, and he's the only original Avenger that hasn't had a movie, it would be great to see Hulk in his own movie. And we didn't get a sequel to The Incredible Hulk or Hulk, did we really? Because they rebooted it.
After
the film, so we never got a direct sequel to any of those two.
No, that's very true. We didn't.
So, is Hulk a character you would like to see? Because don't forget, in She-Hulk, he's now got a son.
I've not seen She-Hulk.
Okay, spoiler alert: Hulk's now got a son.
No, I've tried to steer away from that. I think that's probably going to be time that I won't get back if I watch that, to be honest. Or I wish I could get back.
She-Hulk was a really good series. I really enjoyed that. The only problem with the She-Hulk series was that it knew what it was, because She-Hulk and Deadpool and there's only one or two other characters know that they're comic book characters, and they often break the fourth wall and tell you what's going on and what's going on. And She-Hulk tried to pick that up in the series, and it poked fun at itself. But She-Hulk was never allowed to run the show herself. She always had to have like a counterpart in each episode, and that sort of ruined it for me. Zelda, we're getting a live action movie of Zelda.
That'll be interesting.
Did you ever play the games?
Yeah. Ocarina of Time, I played it religiously, that one.
So which games would you hope that they sort of follow? Because, like I say, Zelda's one of these sort of... The universe changes every time you play a different game. It's not like it's based in the same timeline or anything.
No, like but the thing is, for me, is that Mario did relatively well, didn't it? You know, it's definitely the audience that it was aimed at, and then obviously you've got the added advantage of you've got sort of our generations that were like, yeah, we'll watch it as well. You know, it was aimed at kids, sort of thing. And I think we're going to get more and more of these things now because I think there's going to be less and less superhero movies for the time being, and it'll be more and more about games and sort of what they can do with them, whether they're adapted to a TV program or they're adapted to a one-off movie sort of thing.
Yeah, my only concern with Zelda is that if we get like a Lord of the Rings type storyline, because it is very much so a Lord of the Rings type adventure, where if I remember the games correctly, you know, he's fighting monsters and demons and stuff like that, and doing challenges. So I don't know where they go with that. But as you say there, though, see, going back to Halo, and I want a Gears of War film or series or something like that. And Mario, that wasn't live action. That was CGI, wasn't it? And that's done all well. So I think you're right. I think the resurgence of game content or game-based content might come back. We might actually get a decent Doom movie.
I mean, you're gonna see. We've seen this off the back of things like Sonic, and how there was a public uproar because it looked nothing like him, and then they changed it, and it was a relatively decent movie, the first one. So it's all off the back of stuff like that, where they're just going to keep putting these out now. Hey, Rich. Hey, Kevin. They're just going to be putting these things out now and seeing how they do, because they're cash cows at the end of the day, aren't they? I mean, if your cash cows die in, which is the bloody Marvels and DC at the minute, then they're going to find something else that they can, whether that's resurrecting franchises or, we've got the new Ghostbusters to look forward to. That looks pretty epic.
Dan Aykroyd was out talking about the new Ghostbusters. He didn't. Although he's making a lot of money off it being like a producer of Ghostbusters, he doesn't want it to be a long-running franchise. Because the original, the 3 movies, is it 3 films? 2 films?
2 films.
The 2 films, isn't it? The original, that's what they were, weren't they? They were like adult comedy gold. That weren't that they were comedic, but weren't taking that weren't comedic. And then you've got the 2016 film that everyone forgets that exists. And then this is the second one of the so-called follow-on movies. So Afterlife is technically Ghostbusters 3. And this is going to be 4. So he doesn't want it to be a long-running sort of series. But I can appreciate that, and I can respect that, because, like you say, you don't want to tarnish the first 2 too much.
Yeah. But I mean, I think again, it's money talks, and if it comes out and it's a smash hit again, then because anything was better than 2016. So Afterlife was automatically going to be, a return, and there was always that question of whether or not the original Ghostbusters would return. -1, and sort of pay homage to him, and I think it might just pick up speed again now. I think once this one's out, if it does well, then we will probably get another one. But I wouldn't expect it to be any of the original cast in that. I think it'll maybe a cameo, but it'll be trying to branch out into the sort of newer Ghostbusters at that point.
Into the Paul Rudd and the Stranger Things cast.
Yeah, basically.
I don't know, because they're in this one. The 3, Bill Murray, Dan Aykroyd, and what's his face?
Yeah.
They're back in this one. It looks like they're playing quite big parts in this one. It's not like we were talking Tom Hardy before being in Furiosa, but it doesn't look like he's in the film. So
no, the thing is, they're in the trailers, but we all know that doesn't mean absolutely nothing. I mean, I was watching the advert for the new Aquaman yesterday, and I was taking particular notice as to whether or not there was a certain woman in the trailer, and there wasn't.
Mera is there.
Not in the advert on the TV.
Oh, she's in the movie
trailer. Yeah, yes, but it's blinking, you miss her in that trailer though.
Yeah.
You know, but we all know that she's going to be in it, and it's a much slimmed down role, but she'll be in it. Whereas this might be like the other thing as well is that if you look at these trailers, you know, they may be in it about 10 minutes, but we've had that before with, I want to say, was it Escape Plan 2? Something like that, just off the top of my head. I think that was Escape Plan 2, maybe. And they were showing that it had, was it Stallone in it or something? And he was in it for about 5 seconds.
Stallone's in all three.
But he was in that one for about 5 seconds, whereas obviously the original Escape Plan was him and Schwarzenegger, wasn't it?
Yeah, Escape Plan 1 and 2, he's in that because it's focused on him. Escape Plan 3, he's not in it that much. I just want to say something to someone that's just popped in.
So, really? You have Black Manta's dagger from Aquaman 2, if anyone wants to buy it. Cheers, Rich.
Sorry, chat, we're not really ignoring you, but
hey, Rob.
It's your birthday. Happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday to you.
Apparently, Rob is 65 today.
65, I heard 50.
So happy birthday, buddy! Thank you for popping
birthday,
in.
mate.
I'm sure you've got something better to do than watching us this evening.
Yeah, but he knew he'd get a shout out there.
Yeah, that's the only reason why he's popped in. He's actually left.
He's gone now. Yeah,
he's done.
It's like a 1 in 1 out policy at the minute. We keep going, like, we don't get any higher than 12. 75 now, really.
Yeah, there we go. It's going up, isn't it?
Yeah.
The last piece of movie news that I want to talk about, and I know that we've babbled on for half an hour now about movie news, but we have a lot to catch up on. Now, Deadpool 3. So we've all seen the stills of Sabretooth and Wolverine and people like that we know that are in the movie, and we know Deadpool 3 is supposed to be an important movie to the Disney sort of link up now to the Marvel franchises, because it's going to introduce the other factions into that. Have you noticed that Ryan Reynolds is putting out fake teasers and drops and spoilers?
No, I didn't, but it wouldn't surprise me.
So he was doing an interview the other day, and he's on the telly, and they were going, "Wow, how have you got the right?" Because obviously it's Disney, right? So they've got the rights to quite a lot of different franchises. And he was like, "How have you got Disney to agree to all of these?" And he says, "What do you mean?" And he says, "You know, all the characters." And he listed off a load that were fake drops to see how long it takes him for his mates in Hollywood to come back to him and say, "How have you got them in your film?" So the likes of, I've got a list here of the ones that he admitted on the stream, on his interview.
These like Chuck Norris facts.
Well, these are the ones that he admitted to being fake, just to see how long it takes his mates to come back to him to say, "Wow, what you're doing with this franchise?" Mickey Mouse, Loki,
right?
Jennifer Lawrence's Mystique from the later X-Men movies,
right?
And Predator. There's a picture of Deadpool with Predator, and you know everyone was going nuts that he was meant to have been in this film, but it was just because they're getting ready to start filming for Prey 2, aren't they? So they must have dusted off the
straight onto the other set.
Yeah, dusted off the suit, and I'll come and get a picture with him while we've got this out.
Brilliant.
So yeah. So Ryan Reynolds is throwing out fake news. So I don't know what to believe now about Deadpool 3. Really don't know what they're going to go with Deadpool 3 now.
Well, I think it'll be a massive hit regardless. I think he's especially with the way that they've sort of teased Wolverine into it. So I'm looking forward to it myself.
It should be a good movie either way. Unfortunately, it's going to be the last one that Disney aren't going to poke the nose into, because it's going to be mainstream to everything else that they want to do going on from there. So we'll probably lose the rated R, Merc with a mouth type movies that we're accustomed to when it comes to Deadpool.
Do you think, though, by this point, it'll have probably run its course anyway? Unless he starts doing cameos in other movies.
I don't know, because Deadpool's got its own comic. It's got its own bad guys and stuff like that, hasn't it? And it's got ties to other things there, he's got ties into like the X-Men, Spider-Man, stuff like that, where they can do that. Do I think it's run its course? No, I think they've kept the humor where it's needed to be. They've not done like Thor Ragnarok, for example, was a great comedic movie. It's what we needed at the time for Marvel to jump on the back of that. We also got Guardians as well, which was so the 3 Deadpool, Guardians, and Ragnarok were brilliant, breath of fresh air. But then they took it too far, didn't they, with Love and Thunder, and that just bombed.
That's the point. But
they haven't got that far with it with Deadpool yet. It's still.
We'll find out when we watch this one.
Yeah, it's still a quite serious movie with lots of adult-themed jokes thrown in there as well, where Love and Thunder was just joke after joke after joke, and it just didn't work.
Yeah, I get it.
So what are we talking about now then, mate?
Well, I watched... I picked up a Blu-ray the other week. I watched this, which was quite interesting, which is Shudder's original series called Cursed Films. I think there's been 2 series of it, but this is the only one that's been released. But it was really interesting because it obviously, if you Google online about cursed films, there's absolutely loads of them. So conspiracy theorists and stuff like that. But the ones on this first series was Poltergeist, The Omen, Exorcist, Crow, and Twilight Zone, the movie. One second. Okay, yeah, that's fine. For that 2 weeks, and I've managed to get a brew. So yeah, it was really interesting because there's so many of these films, and I mean, Twilight Zone the movie. I haven't actually watched that, but I know of what happened, and a helicopter came down in the middle of a lake when they were filming a Vietnam scene, and ended up killing the actor and these 2 kids that shouldn't have been working at 2:00 in the morning because it was all illegal. And then it, I think I would say it relatively got put under the, it got pushed under the blankets to speak, or something along that sort of lines.
Swept under the rug.
Swept under the rug. That's the one. Because these 2 kids weren't hired actors in a way. There was some dodgy way they did it, but this director, nothing happened to him in the end. But yeah, it was interesting because they explained about what actually happened on the Crow set, and sort of, as well as sort of going on about the myths and the stuff. Like, they were also debunking them as well. So it was a really interesting watch. But it was a series. If you ever get a chance to watch them, I'm going to try and find the second series because I think there's 2 series of it. But the Cursed Films, that was really interesting because I've always been fascinated with the Crow, especially how Brandon Lee died and Andy's dad died. They both had sort of mysterious circumstances.
Yeah, the other one was Amityville, wasn't it? There was a couple of the cast members dying that, and so it's a series about all of that sort of stuff.
Yeah. Like I say, this one's 2, 4, 5 episodes. Probably about half an hour to an hour long, maybe each. But yeah, it's quite interesting. But I think it cost me about £6 from CEX. I picked it up when I saw it. But even The Exorcist, you know, a lot of these horror movies, there's a lot of things that mysteriously happen. But they were going on about like the hype of The Exorcist when it came out, and as well as all the weird stuff that happened on set, like, and to the actors. But one of the things was about how the marketing had been, you know, like hiring these ambulances to be outside the theaters, and you know, none of that stuff was actually happening. They were just it was the PR that was hiring the ambulances, you know, to make it. They were worried that it weren't going to make any money whatsoever, and it ended up being one of the most successful movies of all time.
Yeah,
you know. But it's clever. It's clever how they did it all. But I mean, it was like Linda. I want to say Linda Blair, was it? Was the woman that played the kid in The Exorcist, something like that. They had a big in-depth interview with her as well, and it was at one point they'd asked him about she needed bodyguards afterwards, and she was like, "Oh, I won't talk about that." But basically, they had bodyguards because people were scared of her, for want of a better phrase, after a performance in it. But then there was another girl that played some of the other scenes as well. Well, some of the stuff, by the looks of it, some of the stuff that they did in those days, like on a production set, and to get the most out of people, like the director of the Exorcist, he just randomly fire off a gun in the air to get a response off somebody, and like that wouldn't happen nowadays at all. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was just he'd do it just to scare him, but he'd tell her just so that, because obviously she was only small, he'd tell her, but nobody else would know that he was going to just fire off this gun randomly.
Well,
you know,
especially if you put the gun in the hands of someone like Alec Baldwin.
Yeah, there is that. But that one about the crow and how the gun went off, that was interesting. You know, they had experts on there saying how this blank happened and how it happened and stuff, and showing an example of it. It was really interesting. But yeah, it was just a bit left field. I didn't expect to get it, and then I saw it in the shop, and I was like, I'll pick that up and watch that. But yeah, it's been enjoyable. But other than that, it's like you said yourself, we've been picking up things left, right, and centre, aren't we? Really, the last month or so. It's going to die down a little bit now, because I'm generally running out of space. Got this guy at the side of me. He's living there now because I've got nowhere else to put him. But it's cool.
Yeah, it's the new ones, isn't it? The new range. One of the series that I'm sort of hoping for. Well, say hoping for. I don't know if it is a series or it's a film. I can never get my head around it because one says it's a series, one says it's a film. They were going to go into production just before the writers' strikes, and now that looks like it's becoming the writers and actors' strikes. That looks like that's coming to an end now, and people are getting back into work. It's Tron Ares. Now, I love the original Tron. I love Tron Legacy. I think that was brilliant, and I can't wait to see what they do with that. Because, like I say, we were talking the special effects before about Fury Road and stuff, but the special effects in Legacy was absolutely superb. It was it was just they're bright, and the way that they de-aged Jeff Bridges and stuff like that, and you know, for Clue, and it was just brilliant to see. But the series, like it's on the special edition version of The Crow on the DVD, the documentary about the Brandon Lee, and what happened with that, and that does sort of ring alarm bells, because they were talking about it being all the monks and the Chinese and people like that.
So basically saying that he was giving away secrets, wasn't he? A bit like Bruce Lee. The other one was about the fact that there was this theory that Bruce Lee had been tormented by a demon, and you know, the Dragon, the Bruce Lee story, literally sort of put a face to that, if you like.
Yeah.
But that obviously it was passed down, and he was fighting his demons and all that sort of stuff. There's loads. The Bruce Lee thing about the I want to say the triads or whoever it was that had been, they weren't very happy with him. I wouldn't put it past that, to be honest with you, but it did look like he had a stroke at some point a few days before, I think. It said, hey, Michael. This didn't realise that taking this painkiller, his body would affect his body in the way it did.
Do you think... Do you know, like Mark Vivian Foe died, and when they turned around and they said, you know, he was too actively fit for his heart. Do you think Bruce Lee was
quite
sort
possibly,
of in that same vein? Yeah,
quite possibly. I mean, he was definitely a elite athlete, wasn't he? Really.
Because if he wasn't filming, he was working out, wasn't he? He was doing something. So
yeah.
He might have been the first one just not documented. And
the other thing then is obviously the modern science nowadays. They might have picked up, his Apple Watch might have picked up that there was a heart rhythm problem, or you know, something along those sort of lines. But
not that it would have helped Brandon Lee in any shape or form. But
well, not at this point, no. But it does amaze me that, I mean, like I said to you, that even in the 90s, you know, the way that some of these films were shot and things that they got. I mean, one of the things you were saying about that helicopter one in the Twilight Zone one was like they wouldn't have got away with it. But one of the things, in fact, to tell, like, it was The Crow actually about the gun expert. Originally there was a gun expert, like a proper gun expert, but they only have to hire him for a couple of weeks, and then they can basically hire any old Joe off the street. So they got rid of him, obviously to cut costs. Because the other thing as well is that The Crow wanted to be a big movie on a small budget. So to keep the budget down, they had some, I want to say some randomer, but it was somebody local who should have been keeping an eye on the weapons, and obviously never checked it properly. Definitely was.
Oh, uni.
Yeah, well, he did say he was elite earlier as well. His sport that he does. But yeah, you know, but this is it, and obviously with health and safety and everything nowadays, they wouldn't get away with it. But back then, that's what ultimately killed him.
So if I remember the documentary, that scene where he's on the table and he gets shot and whatever else, that was one of the first scenes that they filmed in the movie. But that wasn't the scene.
No. So there's a couple of things to this. So
because that wasn't the scene that he got shot and killed in.
No, so they were on, let's say, scene 46 of 49. So they'd done the majority of the movie. You know what it's like. They don't do it in any sort of chronological order. So although that was one of the more brutal scenes, it was done towards the back end of the film rather than the start. Obviously, but it was predominantly at the start. The other thing is, and I learned this when I watched it the other night, was, you know, there's a guy that's in, I think, The Hills Have Eyes. I forget what he's called now, but his head looks like an egg.
Yeah.
Really odd shaped fella, but he's a really good actor, and he seems to be in any horrors like that. There was a ghost, I want to say a ghost cowboy or a skeleton cowboy that was supposed to be in the movie. So this skeleton cowboy was out of the comics, straight out of the comics, and he was supposed to be in the movie, and he'd shot a couple of scenes with him, but not enough to sort of put into the movie. So that when nobody wanted to carry on that film, but it was down to Brandon's missus or his girlfriend and his mum were like, look, he was proud of his work, he'd want to continue it. So they reluctantly agreed to continue it, but obviously had to do a few shots of, like, so you'll watch it in the film now, and there'll be quite a few distant shots, silhouettes, stuff like that.
Yeah, it's Mark who filled in the last the last couple of scenes, and that's why he ended up getting The Crow City of Angels, which is the second movie and parts of the series.
Yeah.
So,
but this actor, this character, this skeleton cowboy, it looked absolutely menacing. It looked amazing. But I'd love to try and find if there was any sort of even the shots that he did do, if they were anywhere, because it was but it was quite interesting. But like I say, they were on like scene 46 of 49, so there wasn't a lot more to shoot. But I know there's a bit where you see like a silhouette on the ceiling of like a shadow of him, and that's the sort of stuff they had to do to try and finish off the movie and sort of alter it a bit. I think the ending and everything pretty much had already been done. So
yeah,
I'm surprised.
It's been a while. It's been a while since I've seen the documentary. Like you said, it was on the special edition DVD, and I'm surprised it never made it onto the Blu-ray. To be honest, because on the Blu-ray, it was just like a couple of deleted scenes, and that was it. It was a bit poor, really. But I quite enjoyed the film The Crow, and I hope the reboot or the soft reboot of this actually does it justice and sticks to the comics and gives us a good story and everything else. I quite enjoy all that conspiracy stuff.
Like I say, I'm into sort of documentaries and then those sort of things. So I was sort of looking at it thinking, I'm definitely going to watch them. But the thing is that Lou doesn't like horror stuff, so I've had to sort of watch it either when she's been in bed or when little one's been at school. But yeah, I managed to get through it all, and it was really enjoyable. But I know there is a second series, but they haven't released it on any format that I know of. Which sort of tends to happen these days, but never mind. Hey, Cal. But yeah, I'm going to try and track that one down. It reminds me a bit like of, the programs you've got like on Netflix, where it's like Toys That Defined Us and that sort of stuff. It's like that, you know what I mean? They're all completely separate about different films. Movies That Defined Us, that's the one I think, innit, or something like that.
Well, on that Movies That Defined Us, it was like Alien and Ghostbusters and Die Hard and stuff like that, wasn't it? On the first one, The Abyss. The Abyss is a great movie.
The Abyss is coming out on 4K, isn't it?
Yeah. Now they found the was it the special edition?
So
now they found the original print of the special edition. They can get it out in.
I just wish he'd space them out a bit. The thing is that he seems to be dropping them all around the same sort of time. So we're going to, for the Americans now, they've got Titanic already. I think that's coming out in the next week or so for us. Then you've got True Lies and you've got The Abyss. Like some of these movies we've been screaming out to get even a DVD of a Blu-ray of The Abyss.
Yeah.
And now they're coming out in 4K. But apparently that Titanic looks amazing, which, to be fair, it's a cinematic movie, so it should do. But the picture quality on that
I'm not really a big fan of the Titanic because I know what happens, and it's sort of just it's a three and a half.
Don't ruin the ending for anyone.
3.5 hours worth of movie to get to the point where we all know what happens, and then
Kel's still waiting for 7 4K release. It'll be coming, but I'm telling you now, it'll be a 70 quid special edition steelbook with
it'll come in a special
photos.
Box. It'll come in a special box.
What's in the box? Oh, they're doing that now. If they're not, someone will come across this and will have inspired it.
If they don't, they've missed a marketing ploy there. Now,
absolutely.
So we're talking about that. There you go. So there's the special edition Abyss on DVD. But I think that's probably going to be one of the few 4Ks I'm going to buy. Is The Abyss.
I got a Blu-ray the other day. I picked up the Hollow Man set, This was quite a surprise. I saw it on one of the movie groups saying that it was on Amazon cheap. Anyway, I went on Amazon and it was 15 quid.
Is that the two movies?
Yeah, so 1 and 2. But the thing is that
I wasn't a big fan of Hollow Man 2.
it was. I was looking at it like the week before in CEX in Lincoln, and it was 28 quid. And I was like, I do like it, but no, it's an okay movie. I didn't have it on Blu-ray, but then when I noticed this sort of set thing was in for 15 quid on Amazon, I was like, right, I'm having that. I was well chuffed.
Yeah, I wasn't a big fan of Hollow Man 2 because that was the Marine, wasn't it? He wasn't the scientist. It was a Marine that went a bit.
I got some more 4K goodness for my collection, so I picked up Ready Player One. Love this movie.
Really enjoyed that film.
I got E.T., so that's about my 20th copy of E.T. now.
Yeah, you got there before I did.
Yeah, I knew you were going to say it. Cliffhanger, one of Stallone's best movies in 4K.
However, it's John Lithgow that makes that film for me.
Yeah, I know what you mean. And then Lock Up, which is another great Stallone movie. That's always on as well. But that's brilliant. And then I got, that was only cheap, so I picked up Babylon, which is Margot Robbie in 4K. I can't complain.
Is it Michael Rooker that's in Cliffhanger?
Oh. You've got Stallone, John Lithgow, Michael Rooker,
Michael Rooker,
but that's
he's quite good as well in that film.
It's an awesome movie. It's one of my favourites of the 90s, definitely. But I'd seen them two in the shop, and I was like, I need to pick them up now. But I couldn't leave one without the other because Lock Up is another one that I really enjoy. So,
no, I'm wheeling back the purchases at the moment. Like I say, the mini Teddy's
draining you.
He's not draining me, to be honest. It's not actually cost me that much. I bought a new alternator the other week, and that cost me 60 quid. But yeah, it's not draining me of money, but it's just something that I'd rather put my money into. These are great, the figures behind me and the collectibles behind me, but I want to move into the better figures. For those that saw the video the other day, you saw me talking about the Marvel Selects and the Halo stuff, and that's where I want to go into.
Have you seen these things, by the way? Just to interrupt you slightly, I don't know if I sent you a picture of these, but look at these. That's
from the game, though, isn't it?
100th edition Batman.
Yeah.
So I went into one of the charity shops a couple of weeks back, and I've actually got two of the exact same. So I've got two of these. But this woman, the woman had said, this lady that comes in, she brings in all her son's old stuff, and I must have like 4 bags now of Batman, like 90s Batman figures and the Batmobile cars, and a lot. Unfortunately, it's not the Batman Returns one because I would love that. It's more like the comic stuff.
Yeah,
but it's like literally like the stuff that we get from Chris.
There's no cheese.
Oh, okay.
Run out of cheese, sorry.
Right, okay. One sec. So yeah, I've ended up with an absolute load of 90s Batman figures and cars and vehicles. One of them's actually like a bat, which is weird.
Man bat.
It's not the figure itself. It's a vehicle. I would show you, but I'll put it in the loft for now. But it's a vehicle of a bat. But it's like, I think they're like 96 maybe, something like that, 97, 96, 97. But this guy obviously doesn't live with his mother anymore. But I'm not sure he's going to be too chuffed when he gets back and realizes she's brought them all in.
No, you'll have to show me what you've got, and
no, but like one of the Batmobiles is like a really long one.
Yeah,
that's like quite straight and then just curves down at the front. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, the Batman animated series.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was quite interesting. Then I got that. Not I want to say Precinct 13, but it's not Precinct 13. But I think I sent you a picture of the figures.
Space Precinct.
That's the one.
Precinct
Yeah.
13 is the Ethan Hawke movie, isn't it? Yeah, Space Precinct.
No, so I got that big vehicle, and then a load of them figures. So
Mm. Yeah, that'll be good to have a reach what you've got there. But like I said, I'm sort
See
of
this? I
moving.
picked up. I'll show you this. I don't know if I've sent you a picture of it, but it's the bar scene from Yuppie Love.
Where he falls through.
Yeah, so you press the suitcase and he falls through it. How cool is that? He falls through the bar.
That's a B&M bargain special if you've ever
It's
seen one.
Yorkshire Trading or whatever they're called. The new place that's opened.
Yeah.
But it was like $12.99. I was like, I can't leave that for $12.99.
Oh, where we were when we went into town that day.
Yeah, but he goes with my big one.
Yeah, you can get them in Home Bargains. Yeah. The so I've been looking at the big figures and the big Marvel selects and stuff, and James at Starbase has got a beautiful looking Moon Knight. And if I was into Moon Knight and I really enjoyed the series, I wouldn't have batted an eyelid spending 170 quid on it.
£170? Is it Hot Toys or something?
It's gorgeous, but yeah,
Wow.
Like I say, I think for 170 quid, I think I could finish Teddy off to a point where I'm happy.
He'll drive you down the road and last till Christmas.
Yeah.
Junior's asked me a question. Yeah, Lou doesn't enjoy them, so I can't watch horror stuff or anything remotely horror related when she's awake.
Rich is tired, getting old. Yeah.
Oh, I see.
But there's lots of them out there because we went to Liverpool at the weekend with Mike and Mel.
Yeah.
And we were in Worlds Apart in Liverpool, and they had loads of them in the cabinet, and there was this lovely looking Weapon X, Wolverine when he's but then you can get those figures in B&M at the moment. So the Worlds Apart are selling them for 60 quid. But those Marvel Diamond Selects are in B&M for 35 quid. So if you're lucky and you find the ones that you want, you can get good deals on them.
Yeah.
And I think they just look... Obviously, the Transformers aren't going anywhere. They're staying. But stuff like the little Captain America here and the Connect Captain America and stuff like that, and they'll be going out. They're the ones I'll be making space for with. So that's my plan. So next year it's Operation Minis because Minnie and Biggie both need stuff doing, and then then it's back to the room collecting.
Is this stuff that you knew needed doing?
It's stuff now that I'm driving the cars that I'm. Do you know what? I need that now, and I need this, and it'll be nice to have.
Yeah.
So the mechanically sound, Biggie is anyway. Teddy needs a bit of work. Just so
but the age of the car just tells you everything, really.
Just so the chat realised, and I don't know if I've told everyone here, but we sold the Volvo. The Volvo's gone, and I bought a BMW Mini, convertible BMW Mini. So I've now got Mini and Biggie. So Teddy's a classic 1987, and Biggie's a BMW one. So yeah.
Does that mean you're getting rid of the convertible then, Steve?
Do you know what? I was going to sell the MX-5, but I just can't bring myself to do it.
That was what you told me. The reason why you were getting a convertible was so you had a convertible Mini.
Yes, with 4 seats, so when I've got the girls, I can put the roof down and still enjoy it. However, I took Maz, the Mazda, to Glasgow with me the last week when I had to go up for work, and I just really enjoy driving them.
It's literally the only one that will get you there and back without any problems.
No, because Lana wanted to use Biggie for a couple of days while I was away, so I took the Mazda.
Biggie.
I really enjoyed driving him, and I just can't bring myself to sell him. And it was just like, I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. I don't want to sell it. It's a nice car, and yeah, it's not happening. I'm just going to have to live with the fact that I own 3 cars.
There's only 2 people who can drive in the house.
And then we've got Lana's car as well. So technically the household's got 4 cars. But, you know.
Sorry, there's 4 cars still.
Yeah. I've got the MX-5.
You were up to 5.
I've got the MX-5. I've got Biggie, and I've got Teddy, and Lana's got
At one point, you were up to 5 cars. That's a showroom.
Yeah. However, the next one we're going to buy is going to be a Suzuki Carry or a Bedford Rascal.
To replace what?
Just so we've got one.
I know there is a car park in the vicinity of your house, mate, but that's taking the mick.
It'll be fun.
You're physically going to have to pay people to have their parking spaces.
Well, I've already commandeered one from next door, but one. I have to ask him if I could use it for one of the cars. But it is what it is, and you know. But I was gonna, like I say, I was gonna sell the Mazda. Maz was going. We actually wrote an article to sell Teddy the other day, but once I got him working and I was driving him, said I can't sell him. So I'm attached to them. So I'm at the point now where I'm just owning the fact that I own 3 cars. That's it. Lana owns 1 and I own 3. It is what it is. It is what it is.
I don't know. Fucking hell. And you go on to me about owning 3 copies of bloody Dirty Dancing?
No, hang on a second. I don't own 3 of the same model cars. So that is not a comparison. You know, it's not like I own 3 MX-5s.
But you can only drive 1 at a time.
Yeah, but I can drive all 3 in the same day.
But just go to the same car park 3 times so you don't get ticketed for going twice.
So the other day I drove Biggie to work. Then I drove the MX-5 for a bit later that day when I had to go back out. So I went to site in Biggie, came home, had to go back out, went out in the Mazda, and then later that evening I took Teddy out for a drive.
You're finding reasons to go out.
I've got nothing better to do with my time or my money, have I?
No, clearly diesel and petrol is the way forward.
Anyway, getting back to some sort of movie related.
So the Italian Job. What cars are in the Italian Job?
Now, we went to the mini meetup the other week. I don't know, for those of you that watch our channel, you know that we've got a second YouTube channel called Life in the First Lane, and that is to do more of the car content when we're driving around for pickups and going and day trips and etc. We will put the videos on that so it doesn't mess up the movie chats one. So when we went to the mini meetup for breakfast the other morning,
for breakfast.
Yeah, we met up at
McDonald's.
We met up at a pub. We drove around. We met up in the Tudor Rose. We drove around the Wirral for a bit and ended up in the refreshment rooms in New Ferry. There was about 15 minis.
Yeah,
and the MX-5 because both my minis were in the garage at the time. So. But there is a bloke there that has got an Italian Job mini.
Yeah.
and it's lovely. And he's got a 1.5 litre engine in this Mini, and the thing flies.
Yeah.
It's ace.
The Mini community are a special kind of community.
It's brilliant. It's making me want to take the 1 litre engine out of Teddy and buy the a 1.6 Honda.
You'll be putting extra lights on it next and badges on the back.
Yeah, I want to swap. I want to do the engine swap. I want to swap it with the 1.6 VTEC.
Wow. Yeah, that would move.
It would move. That would be ace.
Do you feel inferior to all the rest of the Mini Club then?
No, because I've got a 1987 Mini Advantage, and there was only 2,500 of that model ever made.
Yeah.
So I've got a limited edition. The only thing is that I've got to do quite I've got to do quite a bit of work on the inside, because the person that's had it before me,
yeah,
it's been a bit of a project. So he's got like an aftermarket dashboard and stuff like that. So
yeah. So you want to get it back to original?
I want to try and get it back looking original without it being original, but with modern day mod cons, if you know what I mean. So I've bought like a classic looking Bluetooth stereo for it instead. That looks very similar to the original stereo that the car came with. Funny enough,
you got a Bluetooth stereo in it.
Yeah. And then I'm going to get LED lights for him, stuff like that. So he's already going to look like a little bit of a modern day Frankenstein's monster. So I don't mind going down the engine swap route because I'm not going to sell it. I haven't bought him for, to keep under the cover for the next 50 years, and he's going to be worth money.
Yeah.
But the model that I've got is a limited edition model. Like I say, you don't see very many of them around anymore.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I want to try and keep them looking like a Mini, but or beat a Porsche off the line. That's where I'm going with them.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
yeah.
The thing is that I used to own a Mini, so I know exactly what he's talking about when he's talking about the Mini clubs and stuff like that. Because we had, I mean, the meetups for us were generally in the pub, like afternoon/evening time. It was never really first thing in the morning. But there's some amazing Minis out there, but it is quite a competitive world. But the only thing is that when you're in a Mini, it's mandatory to wave at other Minis. You have to wave at other Minis when you see them.
Only classics. It's like the MX-5s.
Yeah, you get laughed at if you did it in Biggie.
Yeah, it's like the MX-5s. It's mandatory to rate the MX-5 NAs, MBs, and NCs. They all wave Mark 1, Mark 2, Mark 3s. They all wave to each other. But the new MX-5s, the new girly ones, they don't get involved in that. So when you wave at them, you feel like a bit of a dickhead when they don't wave back. So it's like you don't wave at them now because you know it's a new Mazda. They're never going to wave back at you. But you get
that's it. No chance.
Yeah, you get the occasional old boy who's obviously swapped his Mark II for the new Mark 4 or 5.
He hasn't had the memo.
Yeah, and he waves at you. Hello. But I had one the other day that I waved at him, and he didn't wave back, so I just carried on driving. The next thing you know, we turned around at the roundabout, flashed his lights at me, went to the next roundabout, and went off again.
No, Junior, you wouldn't. You would get welcomed with open arms if you tipped up at the Mini Club with an old rusty one, because he'd see it as a project.
Yeah,
he probably got tips on what to do the second he got there. To be honest,
I did. It was the first thing I did. I went over and started talking, and it's strange because it puts your mind at ease that you're not the only one that's got the issues that you haven't yet. That's a common one. That's just this.
Nah,
that's a common one. That's just that. And I'm like, right, oh, okay. So it's not, I don't need to rebuild the car from scratch. No. You just buy this clip and you just buy that clip and you just do right. Sound, not
It's
a
like
problem.
that scene from the Fast and Furious, the first one, where they all pull up at the race, and they're all checking out each other. What's inside in the bonnet?
Mhm.
It's
So
like that.
it did put me mind at ease that, you know,
You like the Vin Diesel of the Mini Club? Did you get yourself a chain and talk about family?
So we do like normal meetups where you're in the pub and you have a pint and you go through stuff, and then you've got the breakfast runs where you meet up at the pub and then you go out for a drive and then end up
You've only been there twice.
in another pub and stuff like that. We're not going to the Christmas do because we've joined too late for that.
Is there a WhatsApp group? Have you gone a bit modern now? Because I
No,
joined a WhatsApp when I did that.
No,
There's a mini WhatsApp group. You know there is. You've just not been invited to it yet.
I'm not invited to it. That's but no, they are really great, and like I say, they've really took me under the wing and telling me what's going on with the cars and stuff like that. So
Please turn up in a white vest with a chain on.
Yeah,
and a cross.
keep your eyes open for Life in the First Lane content. If you haven't already, please go and subscribe to that channel. Hit the bell. And enjoy the content that's not movie or toy related.
I swear I'm getting you a Fast and Furious sticker for that car.
So yeah, we were talking the other day about what colour I get him resprayed because he needs a complete respray. So it's just like, all right, well, I want to keep him British Racing green, and Lance wants to spray him the Mr. Green green. So
it's going to say, you ready for this? It's going to say, I live my life a quarter mile at a time. That's what it'll say on it. I'm telling you.
On the back of a tow truck. On the back of a tow truck.
Yeah, on hard lane.
Yeah.
Oh, it's amazing how you're doing with it. I'm chuffed for you, bud. I'll tell you what I found the other day in one of the charity shops. Raccoons, Series 1. I've not watched it in years.
Raccoon.
I had to double check it because I got one the other week that was. I knew this was going to be the case, but I picked up Teeny Toons Adventures.
Yeah.
Region 1. I was like, oh fuck. But then this is Region 2, so I was quite chuffed with that. Because I remember watching this all the time. I think it was the sort of DuckTales era, wasn't it?
Cyril Snarl?
Yeah, that's the one, I'm sure. Yeah.
Bert Raccoon and
Cyril Snarl, yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, see? There you go.
All 11 episodes of the first season of Raccoons.
Yeah. Hey Z, I'm looking forward to Friday, mate. Hope you've got me some good stuff.
Yeah, we're all tuning in. Make sure you go and check out Only Cool Stuff on Whatnot. We got a show on Friday, haven't they?
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure he'll be selling loads of good stuff.
Yeah, don't forget to send me the pictures beforehand, mate, so we can cherry pick what we want.
Is that the deal, is it now?
That's the deal. Just me, forget him.
Yeah, don't send it to anybody else, just him.
Yeah. So, yeah. No,
sorry, Junie. And now we're on Whatnot.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was I've been picking up quite a bit recently when it comes to stuff to sort of get my teeth into. You know, I haven't seen that for a while. I'm not sure if I mentioned it on the last one, but it might not have been. But I managed to pick up Stingray, the complete series as well.
Do you know what I might actually be contemplating and trading in?
What? No. Why?
Because I haven't watched them.
You're not trading them in. I'll have them off you. Because they're different. They're a bit hard to get hold of, and I don't know what the value is on CEX.
Because I haven't watched them, and they're taking up space. I could get a figure in that box, in that thing,
in that area.
That's what I've done there. I've cleared out some of me some of the Blu-rays. Look, and so I can get me Vince McMahon pop, Steve.
Your Vince McMahon pop.
Yeah. So yeah, so the X-Men might be leaving us.
Don't you
shortly.
dare! I told you to keep hold of them until I'm there.
Oh, there you go. He's going to be making his auctions live before he goes. Yeah, so I can have a good look. Hi everybody. Did the Biden?
No, by the looks of this, mate, they're not worth trading in anyway.
Are they not?
No, not that I can see. I'm looking at this. I'm trying to see the series of them, but it says like complete season 1 and 2 is £1 trade in. How many series is it? It's about 4.
4.
Yeah, it's volume 1 of season 3 is 10p. Volume 1 of part 3 is a penny. Part 4 is a penny.
Oh, it's okay because that's all money going to Z on Whatnot on Friday then.
What?
That'll all be money going to Z for Friday.
Don't even go there. You know full well I need them in my collection of kids stuff.
By the gods of science fiction, hi everybody. Did anyone buy the Babylon 5 complete Blu-ray set and what's your thoughts on it? No, I haven't, but it is one I am contemplating on buying. I watched the new Babylon Road to what's it called? The new animated Babylon 5. And that I really, really enjoyed that, but then that led me down the rabbit hole then of watching the first couple of episodes of season 1 and then
explains it.
And then going to looking at the box set. So, what's your thoughts on it?
I've never really got into it, but the funny thing is that I went into CEX today, and they had the Ultimate Collection on DVD of Babylon 5 for £38, which I hadn't seen as a box set before. It's quite a chunky box set, but if they brought them out on Blu-ray, that explains why. Because it'll be someone's obviously brought them in and sort of traded them because they've got the new ones.
It's Dempsey, yeah, the original X-Men cartoon. Well, not the original, the Uncanny X-Men. I've got the 3 box sets of them, the complete lot. Well, Paul is in. So let me do something for Paul.
Hey, it's your birthday. Happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday to you.
There we go. Second birthday. Paul's also 65.
Is everyone 65?
Everyone's 65, yeah. Just to make
That's
make me feel better about being 41.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Happy birthday, buddy.
Happy birthday, mate.
You look like you've got some good stuff.
Yeah. Yes. So it'd be interesting to see what he's got tomorrow, hopefully. So tune in if you get a chance, guys. But yeah, I'm just thinking what else we got. What did I watch the other night? I watched my first Christmas movie the other day. I've been holding off because I'm a firm believer that it's not Christmas till at least December, and I sat and watched one the other day. But I think it's time to start watching them.
Let me clarify this because the kids are like this with me now because they're like, "Oh, look, it's December and we start doing Elf on the Shelf and what's the other one? Oh, I don't know. Whatever the other thing is the 18 Christmas elves or something that they gain. I don't know. Nick on a prick or whatever it is. I don't know.
Nick on a prick.
You know, but Christmas is Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, Boxing Day. The tree goes up Christmas Eve. It comes down Boxing Day. Done.
If I could you are a legend in my book because if I could get away with that, I bloody would do.
We still haven't put our tree up.
This is the earliest she's ever had it up this year.
It's not happening.
Because I've come to the conclusion that my wife should never go into the range. Not alone. This has become since we moved house and we had a bit of extra expenditure from the old house. This has become a bit of a problem. It's like my problem with buying Blu-rays times 1,000. She will go in there and it's basically a personal assistant because she has 2 trolleys. It's that sort of bad, right?
Mm.
So the other week, she doesn't really venture out much on her days off. But the other week, she sort of was like, all right, well, I'm going to go and have a look at Christmas trees. I thought, oh, here we go. But the night before, she'd had me measure from floor to ceiling what the measurements were. And I was like, it's like 8 foot to the ceiling. I'm sure the Christmas tree we've got is about 6 foot, love. But I'm not getting it down yet. And then I pull it down and all the stuff. And I was like, right, okay. And I thought that was the end of it. And then she's disappeared out on one of my days in. And I was like, oh, here we go. Anyway, she come back with a 7.5 foot tree. This thing's like ginormous. We've got an angel on the top that barely fits.
This is because you've told us you've got 8 foot to play with.
Yeah, if I'd have said it was 5 foot to the ceiling, she might have raised questions with a 6 foot tree, though, Steve, unfortunately. But yeah, but this thing is taking up half the front room. It's massive. It's like bloody National Lampoon sort of esque. And
I did see the photo when she put it on Facebook.
It's ridiculous. But like I say, as the days have gone on, she's got a scene for the front of the thingy as well. She's got lights and a scene for the front bay window. But as it's gone on, the days have gone on, I've found out more and more of how much she spent on that trip to the range. And she's definitely not allowed there anymore. I'm going to have to get a picture sent to him and say, look, kick her out if you see her. But she's managed to put this tree up about 2 weeks earlier than I would ever put them up. I usually put it up like a week before, if that.
I can see why Paul jumped in our chat, because Everton at half-time in Newcastle.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's still 0-0.
Hey, Ashley. I just watched 2 Christmas movies on Netflix. There's one. Oh, see that one with Stephen Merchant in, that Click and Collect. That I enjoyed that last year. It came out last year, that one. And I enjoyed that. But there's another one with Eddie Murphy. I think it's either on Amazon or on
Candy Cane House or something.
That's the one. I'm wondering what that's going to be like.
It's going to be crap, isn't it? Because it's Eddie Murphy. I don't think.
I think she'll just order online, Junie. That's the problem.
I don't think he's done anything great since the first Nutty Professor.
No. I did. There is a few that I've enjoyed. But Junie's put, I don't think banning her from the range will stop her. I don't think it probably would. But the thing is that it's bad when the other day she went, I nearly spent £100 on a light up reindeer. Oh, right, did you? Oh, no, glad you didn't then.
See, our next door neighbours, Dale and Amy, the other side to us, they're into all this decorating the house for every Tom, Dick and Harry special occasion. So the other day it was all Halloween and stuff like that. And then as soon as Halloween stuff came down, the Christmas deck, Santa Stop Here signs came out. Do you know what? I'm just going to take a pair of scissors and cut the fucking lead and just have done with it. That's me done.
Right. Trading Places is one of the best Christmas movies. Yes, I absolutely love Trading Places. There is a 4K out. I think it came out not long ago. I'm umming and ahhing over. I'm still umming and ahhing about the 4K of Santa Claus as well, because that's been released a couple of weeks ago. And I love my Christmas movies. I've got Home Alone on 4K. I wish they'd bring out number 2 on 4K.
Do you know we've gone through 12 months of so-called energy crisis, and people are complaining that they can't pay for the gas and the electric. Ashley's put here that the outside decks have still got to go up. There's houses here that look like they're supposed to be Santa's grottos, right? And I know what will happen come January.
Yes, I agree.
They'll all complain about what's going on. No, £100 for a reindeer is not so bad.
What do you mean it's not so bad?
Because you just spent £80 on a 4K because it's got a business card. So let's not go there, Steve.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you
I spent
did.
£42 on a second-hand traded in steelbook with a business card in it.
A steelbook that you already had
4K
that
version of the movie.
that just had the business card. I could have printed off for you.
Not on the same picture, not on the same quality business card, I'm afraid.
It would have been better. You know what? I would have done it for you.
It was embossed.
But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, like I say, she to be fair, the thing is, Lou doesn't spend a lot on herself. She really doesn't. So when she does go out, it's a bit of a grim and bear it. But yeah, Steve has 5 cars. Remember, yeah, yeah, he can get a £100 reindeer. The problem is that he probably couldn't fit the £100 reindeer in any of those cars. That's the funny thing about it.
You know what the scary thing is about it?
It just be sat. It'd be out on top of it with like in his seat with a seatbelt on, flapping on the Mini.
The MX-5's got the biggest boot.
No.
Yeah, the Mazda's got the biggest boot.
Bloody hell, you put a hold all in that and that's enough for the day.
So yeah. Oh God.
So what Christmas movies, Mr. Festive, are you looking forward to at the minute then? Are you going to put any on at all?
Violent Night.
Yes. Yes, I agree.
That's the only one that I can actually get behind is Violent Night. Scrooged, yeah, I enjoy Scrooged. Gods of Science, science fiction, I enjoy that one. But like you say, I'm not really a Jingle All the Way or stuff like that type of person. I don't really get into stuff like that. However, Violent Night, I can't wait to watch that again. That is definitely a go-to, and I believe they're doing a sequel called Silent Night.
Really?
Yeah. Someone's house gets burgled at Christmas. His family gets murdered, and then the next year he's had a slit throat, his throat slit, and then he survives. Then next year he takes vengeance on the people that killed his family. Now I don't know if that's like a sequel to Violent Night.
It sounds lovely, that, doesn't it?
It's just Silent Night, yeah. So that should be quite good fun. I quite like the sound of that one. But the Christmas, do you know what you can do with that, Junie? The Christmas edition of the greatest waste of fucking time that anyone can sit.
Buy it for him in multitudes, in multiple quantity. That's what he can do.
Oh, Davey's in.
Here he is.
So yeah, the greatest waste of space, or the greatest ashtray that ever made out of a Blu-ray, or whatever you like. The latest edition of the film that Steve's going to send me in the post next week. You know,
you'll be lucky.
I don't know. Yeah. So good evening, Dave. Thank you for joining us, sir.
Yeah. So it's put me on big screen. I'm going to show you something quick. So I had one of my little charity shop pickups the other week. I got a bag of key rings for £3. Like, you'd be interested in them. I was like, yeah, all right then. But like, they're all I'll show you now. I've never seen these before. You got a little flash one. It's pretty cool. Obviously, you've got to have a Mr. Potato Head. Stormtrooper. A Batman. Spider-Man. I'm trying to see, there's no dates on them. Whatever character that one is that Catwoman?
It's supposed to be, yeah, by the looks of it.
Aquaman. Is it Gamora?
Yep.
And then these ones, which are quite interesting. Which I'll go with this one first.
Oh, Erin from Attack on Titan. Okay, yeah. Oh, where'd you get these from? The charity shops?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, they're kind of cool. I like them.
But I mean, I've got absolutely zero interest in these ones.
Oh, you can fire them up to me then, because that's Erin, Nikasa. Oh, what's his name now? I've just bought the pop of him down there.
Oh yeah, but yeah, these I thought these were quite cool. But like I say, £3 for the bag. I was like, yeah, I'll have them.
Yeah.
But I'd forgot all about them until I was sat here, and I was like, because I've not been in this room really for 2 weeks. But then obviously I've got me whatnot pickups. You've got to have Legion of Doom.
Now, this isn't you getting out of doing some pre-recorded content. You have to do this now. You know that, don't you?
You've got to have them, haven't you?
Yeah.
But I was just the thing is, you know, you sat there watching it live, and it's like there was a question. I forget. I think it was Luxury Pickers had asked Chris, like, what a Hasbro is he? If he had any Hasbro wrestlers in his set.
Yeah.
You know, and like all he had was like these sort of ones. You know, and
the Hasbro, not the Hasbro, the Jax ones.
Jax ones, and I was like, no, he definitely he hasn't. I've seen him. He hasn't. And he was like, I didn't know what the difference was, and I'm trying to tell him. I'm trying to explain. Look, it's like these ones here.
Yeah.
They only had about 4 different functions, didn't they? The Hasbro ones back in the day, they only had like 4 different functions. You know, so I mean, these are a bad example because they both literally got the same things. You know, so but yeah, I'm looking to collect a few more of the Hasbro ones. I think from when I had them back in the day. These aren't the official belts, obviously, but Gary was kind enough to put some belts on for us when I asked him for some. But yeah, he was I was sort of screaming, going, no, they're not Hasbro, then, mate. These are not Hasbro. The Jax.
Yeah, the Jax. So those key rings, you've got Armin, Erin, Nikasa, and Bearhard, is it?
All right, okay.
So they're quite cool. I like them ones.
Okay. Well, like I say, you're quite welcome to, mate. I've got no interest in them. It's just I wanted the other ones.
Awesome. Fire them over.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you.
Can we just knock the chat on the head, guys? As you know, we try and stay out of the politics between parties. So let's leave that where it is.
Well, this isn't the place to be doing this, guys. Please.
Yeah. So going on to the Attack on Titan stuff. As you know, I've got the final series part 2 up there. We're just waiting for the final season part 3, but I know that's just aired on telly, so I'm trying to avoid watching the end of Attack on Titan.
Okay.
So, until I buy it on Blu-ray.
Yeah.
Mike next door's trying his damned hardest to ruin it for me. It's like, stop it.
It's only because you do it before he would.
But no, it's Super Ted.
I know. I found it in a charity shop the other day. I was like, I'm having that. Sorry, carry on.
Yeah, so I was sort of toying with the idea of delving back into the anime, and obviously Attack on Titan's one of my favorites. I really do enjoy that, but I can't seem to connect with like Naruto or Death Note or anything like that. What's it? My Academia or whatever it's got. I can't seem to tie into that. I quite like Bukuru on Netflix. That's quite good, but anime's not what it used to be. It's not like the Akira of our time. Do you know when you used to watch Akira and you're like, Jesus, manga was quite dark and dirty, and and stuff like that, wasn't it? But all this stuff now that they've made for kids is, I just can't connect to it. I know My Hero Academia, that's the one. Z, thank you very much. But yeah, I just can't get into it. I just can't. I don't know where to start with it all.
Right, one last pickup, I promise. Right, I want to know who had this growing up because I had to purchase it because I love this.
Atomic Pinball.
This was a Christmas present I had years ago. Not for this particular one, but I very much remember. My mum and dad are coming down for Christmas, so I'm definitely going to whack this bad boy out and have a game on it.
I was going to say, I'm sure your mum's seen your bad boy already, Steve.
That's not what I was going to say, and you know it. You dirty man.
Yes, Ashley, Sweet Home. I am halfway through season 2. I'm not enjoying season 2 as much as I enjoyed season 1. I have to say.
Oh,
it's not as good as season 1. I think it's because I know the story behind season 1 and I know what's going on about the monsters and stuff, but I'm not enjoying season 2. What are you doing, you there?
I'm trying to play with things. Leave it alone. I'll sort it. There you go.
Yeah, there you go. So yeah, I'm not enjoying season 2 as much as I did in season 1. Now, season 2 of Alice in Borderlands and stuff like that continue that sort of.
That was really good. Even the second series was really good.
Yeah, but that sort of continued the sort of like shock factor of it, but where I'm not really as bothered about who's getting eaten by monsters this time round.
Insensitive.
Yeah. Well, not really, Steve, because actually he's just agreed with me. Totally agree. Season 2 is almost like a different show. Same epic scene. Yeah. I just couldn't get into. I'm just not enjoying it as much. What's that? I've tried getting into a new. It's enough. Ghost in the Shell. I love Ghost in the Shell. The only thing with Ghost in the Shell is that there's about 15 different variants of the same series. So I have to make sure that I'm watching the same sort of continuum of them.
When is the next series of Stranger Things released?
Next year, isn't it? The last season 5 next year.
The reason why I'm saying that, right, is because I've been seeing people going out. Yeah, so the thing is that people are getting
2024, isn't it? Because it's like
people are all again. Well, this is it. People are getting all excited about, especially with the Squid Games thing, because obviously people lost their minds about the fact that it was clearly, it said on it, the challenge, and the adverts were showing people that definitely weren't actors in it.
Yeah.
Right. But for some reason, everybody got twisted because they thought it was season 2. But that thing's not even out until back end of next year, if not 2025, because of all the writer's strikes and all that's happened. But it's the same with Stranger Things. Stranger Things season 5 isn't out until summer 2024.
Yeah.
So we've still got nearly a year until that thing hits, and it'll probably get pushed back until the winter anyway.
Yeah.
You know, so we've got a bit of a wait, guys, unfortunately, just the way they are. In fact, we've probably got more chance of seeing a blooming Line of Duty before them.
But the only thing with Stranger Things is that's another one I have not really enjoyed. I
enjoyed Stranger Things.
People were talking about it, and then it was like, right, okay, so I've watched season 1. Then I've watched season 2 and up to 4. And I've watched it so I can talk about it, but I've not really enjoyed.
Have you not?
The series? No.
That does surprise me.
And unfortunately, I wasn't a sort of heartbroken over a second-rate character that plays a guitar that gets killed on top of the bloody bus.
Yeah, that person's coming back anyway by the looks of it.
But he wasn't in the series enough for you to get attached. If they did it where they killed one of the kids off doing that, then that would have been...
They're about 35 now. They're not kids anymore.
Well, that's the other reason, isn't it? That's the only reason why this is the final series, is because they're all like 28 playing 15-year-olds.
Bit like Danielson.
Yeah, yeah. You know, is it Millie Bobby Brown or whatever her name is now? Is probably
Was it like Tobey Maguire as well? Tobey Maguire played Spider-Man, and he was actually quite a hell of a lot older.
Yeah, he was about 10 years older than bloody Kirsten Dunst, wasn't he?
Legend.
You know? Yeah, and you wonder why Harvey Weinstein got away with it. Yeah.
I think we've got a bit of a wait on some of these programs that have been. I know.
Cobra Kai's out just after Christmas, isn't it?
I don't know. I
Is
bet
it
February?
bet
they pushed it back. Well, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 series now on DVD. So I think that is 5, isn't it? Yeah. So is there a series now, or are we still waiting? Because usually they'll only release them like just before or just after.
We're waiting for 6, aren't we? But which I believe this is going to be the last one of Cobra Kai. But we're at that point in Cobra Kai, and you know my views on this, Steve, where we're bringing back bit part characters and then throwing them into series just to drag it all out again.
Yeah.
There's only so many times I can see Daniel getting his ass kicked.
Yeah, that's true.
You know.
How weird. I'm just looking up at my bloody ceiling. All I've got is my massive crow figure up there after speaking about it earlier. Was hoping would be out.
But did you see the thing going back to movie news, and now we've been talking about cartoons? It's hit me that we're getting a Biker Mice from Mars movie. Ryan Reynolds is doing Biker Mice from Mars, and they've announced that we're getting a remake of a cartoon that I've talked about for so long, and no one else can remember it. SWAT Cats.
Yeah, you're right. Nobody else can bloody remember it.
You know, and I cannot wait for that. 2 fighter pilots who just happen to be cats flying around and fighting crime. It's going to be flipping amazing. I'm going to love it. You know, I just wish they do a live action of Samurai Pizza Cats, because that would be awesome.
Oh yeah, that's another one, isn't it? Your pretty Samurai Pizza Cats.
Yeah. Go to see Wonka on Friday. Do you know what? That looks really, really good, and it doesn't seem to follow. I know it's the prequels, but I think he's done a good job of not following Gene Wilder or Johnny Depp in the way that he's done Wonka. I think that's going to be an interesting sort of character development for him throughout the film.
Yeah, I think so.
Especially when you know what we get in the way of Wonka later on in those. But yeah. Have you guys thought about Godzilla? No, we haven't. We haven't. And to be honest with you, see, I haven't paid too much attention to Godzilla.
Not even made your list.
No, it's not made my list. No. But it is. I know people are raving about it, and I know people are. But Godzilla's always been a mixed bag for me. I've enjoyed some, and then I've not enjoyed others. Then it
depends whether you see him for about 45 minutes in the movie though beforehand. Yeah. That sort of plays a part in it, I think.
Which I enjoyed. Was it 2014 Godzilla? 2012 Godzilla?
I like Critical Drinker. See, sorry, mate. Yeah.
Do you know the new Godzilla that started the MonsterVerse? When was that? Was that 2012, 2014-ish, give or take? I enjoyed that, where you don't really see him and the sort of just talking about
him.
Yeah. The new Planet of the Apes. Now I've just watched the 3, Dawn, Rise, and what's the other one?
War. You got the War, haven't you?
War. War. Yeah, that's
Rise,
it.
Dawn, and War of Planet of the Apes.
Rise, Dawn, and War. I've just watched the Caesar trilogy again. That was quite good. I really enjoyed them.
Yeah.
So
Quite a nice surprise, that, considering the one before them.
See you later, Kel. And thank you
guys.
for the info for the Facebook page as well. So awesome.
Yeah, good luck.
So I did enjoy the Caesar movies. I think they're really good, and I did like the how his development through those films.
Yeah.
So I hope they sort of stick to that sort of formula, because I think that works quite well. But like I
it's his
say,
son, isn't it, this time round?
Sorry?
It's his son this time round, isn't it?
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to that one. But like I said, I'm halfway through season 2 of Sweet Home. I've just finished watching the 2004 remake of Battlestar Galactica, the reboot, because I'm looking forward to the movie stroke TV series of that's in production at the moment. So
yeah,
and I've got the 1970s version of Battlestar there as well that I'm going to go back through and watch. I've bought that on Blu-ray, so I'm going to watch that.
See you in a bit, Luke.
So yeah, I've got. See you later, Luke. So I've got a few things that I'm going to watch with eyes on stuff that's coming up. But there's a lot of stuff, like I say, there's a lot of sort of chaff that we just got to get through. You know, and hopefully it doesn't tie in too much, like the Marvels, for example.
Yeah.
Hopefully that doesn't tie in too much or something. And if I haven't watched it, I'm going to miss a major part of something else. But to be fair, I still haven't watched Loki season 2.
No, really?
No.
Let me tell you what happens.
Go on.
No, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to be a big Steve.
Save me 8 hours. Go on.
I enjoyed it. I did enjoy it, to be honest. It was a series that sort of grew on me because I wasn't really looking forward to it. Especially, I tried the first episode of the first series a while back. I was like, yeah, it's not for me at the minute. But then, because they put the season 2 on as well, I was like, I need to try and catch up. And it was interesting. It was a good program. But it definitely ties in with that Kang guy.
Yeah. Junie, am I the only one that's excited about Chicken Run? No, you're not the only one that's excited about
Chicken Run Dawn of the Nugget. No way.
Now, my only concern with this, and you know, I am not a big advocate for sequels 30 years after the original.
It's a fucking animated film. It's not like it's gonna. The chickens are going to have aged.
I know, but by this time, you're 30 years down from the original one. You've probably killed 30 generations of chickens. So the poor bastards
have to CGI them so they look younger.
Yeah, the poor bastards that survived the first film are probably long dead anyway. So what are they going to give us? Like memorials to the original characters, and this is now my great grandkid who's trying. I don't know.
Brilliant.
See.
They've multiplied because there's a lot more vegans on the earth nowadays.
Yeah, that's it. You're going to enjoy Battlestar, and yes, Loki. Yeah. I have seen the original Battlestar. I grew up watching Battlestar Galactica. Being 41 now, so being an 80s child, you sort of inherit your sci-fi from your dad, don't you? So the likes of Star Trek and everything else. I am old enough to remember the Next Generation the first time round when that was released every week.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Well, there you go. 23 years, not 30 years. So some of the chickens may survive. Yeah, you're lucky if they have. You know, the old chicken.
I'd love it if they made an absolute conscious effort of sort of fourth wall in it, saying it was like 23 years later.
Yeah.
We can't have the same chickens in it, guys. I'm afraid it's They've aged dramatically.
I've just started Westworld. Yeah, I got to season 3 of Westworld and sort of lost it when
First season was amazing.
the first 2 seasons were really, really
Yeah.
good. The first
Yeah.
2 seasons were really, really good. Season 3 and 4 were just it's like Star Trek Discovery. I got to
Just
season
fell
3
off
in
a
Star
bit.
Trek Discovery and then just decided, it's not for me anymore.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
Right, ladies and gentlemen, I can see the time here now, and it's 9:10, and I have thoroughly enjoyed the show this evening.
Yes, thank you so much for the support, guys, tonight.
So thank you for watching. Thank you for leaving your comments in the chat. I think it helped that we had that fortnightly break because it's actually given us something to sort of to churn through.
I don't want to go through the same 2 weeks again, though. If I'm honest with you.
No, so next week we are back to normal. We'll try and get something sorted for Christmas in the way of a quiz and some special guests.
Yeah, we need to get that penciled in because I know Lainey's ready to go with that.
Lainey is ready to go for that. So if anyone wants to come on and do the quiz, Z, it'll be great to have you on the show again. I know you've popped on once or twice. It'll be great to have you on and come and talk about collecting and selling and figures and stuff like that.
Yeah, we'll have some updates then of all the figures you've sold us.
Yeah, and we'll be able to show you. We'll be able to do live things of stuff that you got. If you are interested in Whatnot and you have not signed up for Whatnot yet and claimed your free credit, there will be a link in the description here, or please go to any one of my pickup videos. There is a Movie Chats Whatnot in there as well. So when you register, you will get free credit, and when you spend your free credit, I'll get the equivalent to what you've got as well, and that just allows me to continue my plastic.
And I get all of it.
You get the bits that I send you. So
really, that's true.
Well, you do well out of this. So it is, yeah. So you just keep funding my plastic crack addiction. So thank you very much for that. Other than that, keep your eye out for some pre-recorded videos. Like I say, I am off work tomorrow, so I have got quite a lot to unpack and go through and stuff like that, including this bad boy as well. I finally bit the bullet on this, Stevie.
Oh, I
finally bit the bullet on this.
Oh, I see.
I've been watching it all year. It came
just so long as Lana knows you've got it.
Yeah,
she's not going to buy it you for Christmas.
Yeah, so
you're not going to ruin another Christmas.
I've been watching it all year. It started off at 120 quid, and I've picked it up for £30. So
£120 down to 30.
Yeah.
Wow.
So so I've been slowly doing that there. Keeping an eye on that one. So I've got that. So I've got to unpack that one and build him as well. So there will be some pre-recorded stuff. And like I say, little Steve's got about 8 videos. He's just waiting to do the thumbnails on, and then he can get his content out as well. So thank you very much for joining us. Thank you for watching.
Thank you, guys and gals.
Yes.
Have a great week.
Well, we will see you next week. Bye-bye.